Rooftop looks clear. Copy.
What's up, agents? How y'all doing? Hope everybody's doing well, staying safe out there, as safe as you need to be. So I decided it's time to revisit the Striker drone assault turret build, and there's so many different iterations and variations that people run. I'm not gonna lie, there's two variations that I believe are the most powerful. Both of those are linked down below. One is the max damage build based off the Future Initiative, and then it's my God Mode Astrone build, which is based off of actually using a Fenris chest piece and a Memento backpack. And this is the one that I think actually nets the most damage to running gun build, extremely effective. Recommend checking those out if you guys do like the Striker drone assault turret build. So what this build that we're going to bring today is going to be based primarily on just high-end gear and brand sets, putting together what I feel is the best way of running brand sets, the attributes that you should use, and the weapons that you could use. A lot of this, in fact, this whole thing really came from me developing my AFK Astrone, being able to basically go through missions without having to shoot. I don't know if any of you guys have seen my no gun challenges where I don't shoot any bullets. It's all variations based off of this. And so what I do is I start with the full high-end build, and then I just will switch out a few exotic pieces that I tried just to see what the effects would be. Do me a favor, agents, smash that like button if you like what I got going here. If I haven't already earned your subscription, hopefully by the end of this I will have. And the best thing you can do to help me out, help my channel, is just share this video. Hopefully you guys will learn something new or find some information here that could help one of your buddies or a fire team member out. All right, let's get into it. All right, agents, so as far as the specialization, nothing new here. We're running with the technician for all the usual reasons. First of all, we get the amp, which gives us the +1 skill tier. This will allow us to run a weapon core or armor core of your choosing in one of the slots. We get access to the Faraday field. This will keep us, as well as any of our teammates, within 5 meters of our turret from getting shocked or disrupted. We get the dismantling perk, which will allow us to do that +12% bonus damage to drones, robotics, and basically any inorganic proxy. So this is a little bit of bonus damage, and even with diminishing returns, even with the fully min-max build, this still nets you about 5% bonus damage. We will get an EMP grenade. Of course, you get the MIRV launcher. We do get access to the Link laser pointer, so this will allow us to pulse targets for ourselves and our team to keep an eye on them, as well as anybody running spotter will get the benefit of the +15% damage to skills and to weapon. Do know that this is a multiplicative damage bonus to your weapons and your skills of 15%, so this is actually a 1.15 multiplier to your damage. So spotter can be a very good skill, and you could avoid running a pulse by simply running this, and this will buff your team if you want to use spotter. And lastly, let's not overlook the overclock CPU, which will give us an additional 10% bonus to skill damage. All right, moving on. All right, guys, so as far as this build goes, with the gear and brand sets, there's going to be 2 brand sets here that everybody's going to expect to see. Of course, we're going to be using the Wyvern. This will give us the +10% skill damage. We're just going to use the one piece on that. What we're going to do now is use 3 pieces of the Empress International. This will give us the skill health, which will give our turret and our drone just a little bit more health, which can be extremely beneficial, actually. We are going to get +10% skill damage from that second piece, and the beautiful thing is the third piece will give us +10% skill efficiency. So this will give us bonus duration, bonus health, and bonus damage to our turret and our drone. So this Empress International 3-piece gives a lot, and this combined with the Wyvern really does give us the most bang for the buck. as far as getting that bonus skill damage. Now at this point, right, we could run with Hanayu, but what I've opted to do is run for Bellstone Armory. And what this does is this natively rolls with Weapon Core. Since we're using Amped, it does mean we got to get a good solid roll right out the gate so that we could roll one of the two pieces into skill tier. That way we maintain skill tier 6, but we get all the benefits of the Bellstone Armory. So the one piece will give us plus 1% armor regen. But when we add in that second piece, we're going to be getting plus 10% armor per kill. So you guys will notice in the current iteration, we're running with 913,000 armor. So that's over 90,000 armor per kill right there. All right. Now, that number is going to shoot up drastically in a few moments here. We'll get to that eventually. But what I prefer is to run the 2-piece of the Bellstone along with the 1-piece Wyvern, the 3-piece Empress International. And the cool thing about this is that then allows us the ability to drop one of those Bellstone armories in lieu of running an exotic piece. So what I did was I then tested out a few different exotic pieces. We'll get into this a bit later. But there's a lot of versatility and a lot of survivability with this build. All right, so as far as the attributes, of course, we want to get skill damage on every single one of these pieces. Skill damage is king. After skill damage, I'm literally looking for the armor regen per second on every single piece. I know that sounds a little weird, but what ends up happening and what you guys can see in the background gameplay is, unlike Memento that takes a while to stack up, with armor regen in every single piece, we are regenning an incredible amount of armor. Right now, with us all maxed out, we're getting almost 40,000 armor per second. We're getting over 4% armor regen per second with this build. So that's actually better than the 3% we would get from Memento at max stacks. Now, we do have to invest into armor regen in each of these slots, but the way that it works with this build and our armor on kill combined with this means that we can run and gun and really maintain our health the majority of the time. Now, as far as the mods, I literally stuck the highest armor per kill mod I can get in each slot. Every single slot I have over 18,000. So at this point, guys, we're getting 145,000 armor back per kill when you combine these 3 mods along with the 10% armor per kill we get from the Bellstone Armory. So we are getting a huge amount of armor back already per kill, and we're getting a huge amount of armor back per second. So you guys can kind of see that's the motif. Maximum skill damage while getting the maximum amount of healing. And this is just innate healing. It's constantly happening. All right, agents, now we'll talk about the chest and backpack talents. I'll start with the chest talents. So, of course, you could use kinetic momentum. This will have a little bit of ramp up time, but will net you 30% bonus skill damage. You could use spotter. Again, this is a multiplicative damage bonus, so this is 1.15 damage bonus to anything that's pulsed, and you can do this easily by using a weapon with the link laser pointer. All you have to do is aim at a target, aim your turret, your drone at it, and bam, bonus damage. Easy. One thing you could do is elect to go for Overwatch. Since this generally and initially came from an AFK build, Overwatch was one of those perks I was definitely looking at because all I had to do was stay in cover. This pairs incredibly well with the Sawyer's knee pads if you want to go that route. Sawyer's knee pads makes you immune to explosions, which means none of the explosions will knock you out of cover, which means you will not lose your Overwatch bonus. And if you're running in a team, that means your team will not lose the Overwatch bonus. Alternatively, you could use Spark. This will not buff your skill damage, but your skills will buff your weapon damage. So if you wanted to go this route, you could. But as you guys can see, there's a lot easier ways to get extra bonus damage. Particularly if Spotter is a better perk for this, and it will buff both your skills and your weapon damage. So Spark is an option, but I don't recommend it. I, of course, will recommend Glass Cannon. We will take 50% more damage, but because of our healing, both the innate healing per second that we get, as well as the monumental armor per kill. And in a few moments, that armor per kill is about to go even higher. We already talked about it. You'll see in a second. But what that means is I can offset a lot of that bonus damage by doing cover-to-cover moves and just playing smart. And what that means is I get that 25% multiplicative damage ubiquitously across the board. Everything I do. And this, by the way, that also then, since this glass cannon is damage from all sources, that means you explode a barrel next to the guy, they will take 25% more damage from that barrel. It does not matter the source. It doesn't matter how it happens. Everybody will take bonus damage all the time. So that's why I just have to go with glass cannon. It just, ultimately, nothing can compare to the damage you get from it. Now, let's move on and talk about the backpack and the backpack talents. So, right out the gate, I'll talk about which will, this is not what I'm running, but theoretically, this would get me more bang for the buck, would be to use the Hana U for the perfect combined arms. And this would be a 30% damage bonus to your skills for 3 seconds every time you shoot an enemy. The downside is you have to use Hana U for that. Otherwise, the normal combined arms only gives you the 25% bonus damage. And that's the same that we get from tech support, which is the skill I am running. And all we need to do is have one of our skills get a kill. Bam. We got 20 seconds of that 25% bonus skill damage. And with this type of gameplay, that works a lot better for me. So, and that means that I can, we're not using Hana U, so I can mix it up, and it's a lot easier for me to just find a piece with tech support. Now, if you like the way the combined arms play, by all means, go with combined arms. Let's see, is there anything else here that's actually worth mentioning? I mean, dude, guys, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the skill, and no. Basically, what it comes down to is you got either combined arms or tech support. That's the way to go with the backpack. So I like tech support. Use combined arms if you like it. All right. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the weapons and the weapon talents. Well, let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. We're talking about this is a high-end build, named item build, and all that. But, of course, the best thing you can do for DPS is just stick the capacitor in this, and bam, bonus weapon damage, huge amount of skill damage, stack up to your 40 stacks, wreck shop. Okay, we've talked about the capacitor. Let's move that off to the side. Now we'll just talk about high-end gear and specifically name gear. So now, of course, if you're wanting to go with an auto rifle, nothing is going to give you more bang for the buck than the test subject. Hopefully you could roll some damage to armor on it. That'll get you the most bang for the buck there. Otherwise, probably damage to targets out of cover. But this is going to give us access to the perfectly in sync, which hitting a target grants 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a skill or damaging an enemy with the skill grants 20% weapon damage for 5 seconds. And damage increases are doubled while both the buffs are active at the same time. And really, they kind of both have to be active at the same time to really be getting any benefit. So what that means is while this is active, you're going to get 40% damage bonus to both your weapons and your skills. So this is the way to go if you want to use an auto rifle. If you're on PC or you prefer rifles, you can always go with the Harmony. The Harmony also comes with perfectly in sync. The benefit of the Harmony over the test subject, the test subject cannot use the link laser pointer, so you cannot pulse targets nor use spotter effectively through this method. You can do that using the Harmony. The Harmony will accept the link laser pointer. So check that out if you want. Now, as always, use any weapon that's the best weapon for you. If you want an LMG, awesome. If you want to use a P416, awesome. But let's go over, in fact, before we get into this, let's go over the sidearm. Bam. Backup boomstick, future perfect. There's our one way we can overcharge if we want. If we get rushed, this will take a fool down. Amazing weapon. Love Bertha. Okay. Moving on to our secondary weapon, and we have to go with the mop as the winner. And this is a definitive winner for a couple of reasons. First of all, it comes with that 12% damage to armor. Second, you can roll whatever skill you want. So I've actually rolled the normal version of InSync on mine because this obviously works incredibly well. And this still, it doesn't net the 40% of perfectly in sync, but a 30% damage bonus if I want to be shooting with this thing is badass. That kicks ass. And The real reason why we're using this, 10% armor on kill. So let's do the math on this now. So we get 10% armor on kill from the mop. We get plus 10% armor on kill from the Bellstone Armory. So we're getting almost 55,000 armor back per kill just from our mods. All right, agents, so what we're looking at now is over 235,000 armor per kill. We are getting back about 26% of our health per kill, on top of getting over 4% of our life back per second. So I'm sure that a couple times in this gameplay, I just keep taking that critical hit over and over and over and over again because it just keeps giving me armor back. I'm not saying that's the way you should play. It's real easy to go down that way if you're doing that, but it works. So, and if you're in a group, it's even easier. So the survivability of this is amazing, and the mop is what makes it happen. So I will use this generally when I am down in cover because, and it should be noted that your skill kills will proc all these armor on kills. You do not have to shoot them. All you have to do is get the kill. So I will have this in my hand. The only time I will generally switch off the mop is if I want to move over to the capacitor to build stacks. Most of the time when I'm running around killing stuff, I will be running around with the capacitor, building stacks, having fun killing things. And if it gets a little hairy, then I'll switch over to the mop. Or if I'm in a group where somebody else is using spotter, I'll tend to run the mop all the time just so I can keep guys' pulse for them. So that's my opinion on the best weapons for this build. As always, use whatever works best for you guys. Alright guys, so as far as the skills, this build is entirely maxed out right now. So with everything maxed in this, what we're looking at is a base damage of 78,356 for the Striker drone and a damage of 125,313 on the assault turret. Both of these have a 20.8 second cooldown. So that means I have to survive for 20 seconds if both of my skills are down at the same time. Rarely are they both down at the same time, and we have enough survivability to where it tends not to be an issue anyway. So really not a whole lot to be said here. We got Sally, we got Harry, and we are whooping that ass. One thing I should note is I don't usually go over the mods, so I am using a duration mod in the battery slot. In the hull slot, I'm using a terminal ballistics health mod, and in the feed slot I'm using a hollow point bullets damage mod. My damage mod, I will note, is only 4.9% damage, so I could squeeze a tiny bit more damage out of this, but really not a whole lot. As far as the assault turret, we are running with a 4.8% damage mod in the firing mechanism slot. We're running with a duration mod in the housing slot and a duration mod in the targeting slot. Alright agents, so a few different things I tried. I tried switching out the Acosta's go bag for a little bit. Unfortunately with Acosta's, the problem is losing out on the tech support. I actually feel like I lost damage. I'm having to throw these grenades. I can only throw them so often, and it really did not feel like it was a benefit. It actually felt like it took away from the build and just gave me something else I had to do to try to maximize my damage, and it wasn't a lot of fun. We could, of course, throw the memento in here. This will, of course, add a skill tier, an armor core, and a weapon core to everything, give us the kills confirmed. And this is an amazing sort of build. The whole idea of this build was to get the effects that we get from memento, at least from the healing part of it, without having to use an exotic. So if you throw the memento in here, all that will do is make this build even better. And that's what I could do, but the reality is I like running it with the all high-end build just because it does add a little bit more of a challenge, and that's more with the tech support. It's really based off of the AFK version. So throwing in the memento makes it more of the run and gun, absolutely viable, and actually the better option. So try that if you want. As I previously discussed, the Sawyer's knee pads can be of great benefit as it eliminates any of that explosive concussions that will stagger you and knock you out. Also see the Sawyer's knee pads will stack up to 30% bonus weapon damage. So this is one way that you can give yourself quite a bit more punch with your weapons if you want to go this route. Ninja bike does not really add to this play very well. I don't recommend ninja bikes. Now the holsters, I tried out both the Imperial Dynasty as well as the Waveform. The Imperial Dynasty doesn't really help. For the most part, guys don't get up on me. If they do get up on me, it's generally not one guy. It's 1, 2, 3 guys. This will only set one person on fire. If they were to make it so the cooldown of 35 seconds, that should be per enemy. Each enemy should have its own independent cooldown, and anybody charging up should be caught on fire. Because right now, the only way that I found the Imperial Dynasty really works is to go with an Eclipse Protocol status effect build, generally with Creeping Death, so that you're always spreading this everywhere. Otherwise, it just seems a little anemic to me without the right build. But that does bring us to the Waveform, and the Waveform gives us the skill damage, the skill haste, and the alternating current, which will basically stack up to 30% bonus damage that goes back and forth between the skills. And this will really actually buff the damage of either the turret or the drone significantly. And since we're not able to get anything else in the holster slot that really buffs the damage, the Waveform is a way to add significant damage to your build. So if you have your build set up exactly or very similar to the way that I'm doing it, definitely try out the Waveform, and then just that whatever piece of Bellstone that you have, switch one of those out to replace that Empress, so you maintain the 3 Empress. Golden, baby. Golden. Let's rock some damage. So yeah, Waveform for the win if you want to just stack some bonus damage on top of Glass Cannon and tech support. I did try out, so obviously there's a tardigrade. I don't really recommend it. I don't think it's worth it. And the tardigrade, leave that to the dudes that want to run armor builds. I did try out the Ridgeway's Pride. I can confirm that the drone and the turret shooting dudes within 15 meters of you does not add that bleed. The bleed is incredibly weak when we apply it ourselves, and it doesn't matter how much of this healing we get. We have so much healing going on. I did not even notice the healing, any of it, even when I purposely did a cover-to-cover in the middle of a big group of enemies, set up shot, made sure to shoot a bunch of them. All of them were bleed. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. So, Ridgeways. And last, I thought about Coyotes. That's a DPS build, doesn't add anything to this. I did try the Vial. It has a status effect, so we lose DPS that way. We're not creating any status effects anywhere. So the only thing using Vial did was give me an extra job of looking around and trying to shoot barrels when dudes were next to that. So Vial tried to make that work, didn't work. So the only 2 exotics that I found that really fit into this build well is the Waveform holster and the Memento backpack. And if you want to do the full AFK version of it, obviously the Waveform is the best version. And while my build is set upon not running any exotics, if I had to choose, I would run the Waveform. I'd lose one of the Bellstone Armory pieces, so I'd lose 10% armor on kill. We'd maintain all of our armor per second, and we would still be getting almost 150,000 armor per kill. So, I mean, that works great, and we're doing that much more damage, so it's easier to get the kills. It's really an easy build. Other than that, I mean, it's just regular old gameplay, guys. There's nothing fancy. I'm not going to tell you about some new strategy that you're going to use for taking on groups of enemies. You're just going to go get yourself set up in a good position, a little bit of cover, set up your turret in a good spot. The one thing I guess I will say is try to get your turret elevated if you can to make sure it has the most advantageous view of the area you're attacking. What that'll do is that'll allow you to move around a little bit better and make sure no matter where you're moving that your turret can cover you. And that's about it. I mean, the Astrone just works. So use it, abuse it, do whatever you want to do with it. Alright, I'm going to let this just play out and you guys can watch some of this gameplay. I told you it's going to be a little short little video here, guys. So, again, do me a favor. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Share this video if any of you guys can. There's links to donate down below. Anything you guys can do will help. You agents, take it easy. Be safe out there. And I'll see you in the dark zone. Dudes, how do we not fucking get that?
Target neutralized. Good work.
Oh shit, agents, since I couldn't fire my guns and I didn't have another way to blow up that EMP, look at that. It's now disrupting the fucking rogues. That is awesome. Oh, I could not have planned that. Oh, that is amazing. Alright, so they have to come forward to do that. That should make this a little bit easier than it would normally be.
Restore hive detected. Rogue explosive trap detected.
Alright, we gotta watch out for that explosive trap. That will be an absolute one shot with blast cannon. Tell you what, these rogues are still way easier than those hunters. Look, I mean, we can disrupt these rogues accidentally. Those hunters keep on hacking all of our shit. Much more of a pain in the ass, for sure.
Rogue agent eliminated.
This build does work extremely well. It's got great survivability. It's got great damage potential. Unfortunately, it like anything in this game, it just seems like I'm fighting the game so much of the time. So give it a shot. Let me know what you guys think. Try swapping out some exotics. See how that goes. See what you like. And do me a favor, agents. Comment down below. Let me know what combination of gear that you find to work the best with this type of build. And if you have something totally different than this too, but you find that it works to great efficacy, go ahead and mention that down below. Alright, he's smoked. Alright, agents, y'all take it easy. Be safe out there. And I will see you all in the dark zone.